I'm Abdullah Al Noman. I usually go by Noman, and I'm a fourth year PhD candidate in the Department of Medicinal Chemistry at the University of Minnesota. My target is known as retinoic acid receptor alpha or RARα. So this target is essential for the sperm production. What I do is I make potential disruptor of RARα so that RARα cannot function, so that the sperm production will be stopped and we will get contraceptive effect. So my day-to-day work involves synthesizing the small molecules that will disrupt the function of RARα, and then I evaluate whether it is working or not. For contraceptive, generally, the biggest challenge I would say is safety. To get a contraceptive agent that has no significant side effect. Because if we think about it, this is not a therapeutic that is going to cure a disease. People are willing to tolerate a side effect if they are getting curative effect from the medicine. But this is to stop the reproduction. So people would not tolerate any side effect. And that is even more true for male contraceptive because men are not trading off between pregnancy and the side effect of contraceptive. So that means we need to get a side effect that has absolutely no side effect if possible, or very minimal side effect. So which is a challenge for all male contraceptive project, and that is also a challenge for our contraceptive project too. We have done so much in last decade to push for the gender equality, but in the contraceptive field this is still disproportionately carried out by women. So we need a male contraceptive agent. And I think for younger folks like us, we are going through a transition phase of our life now, with so much to do with our education and early career, and also transition into our family life. So in this time, we need to keep control on over things, and contraceptive is an essential tool to keep control over our things, as well as to plan for future ahead. For male contraceptive research, I'm highly excited about it because if you imagine half of the world population would be potential consumer for this pill if we could develop this pill. And I always, it is like kind of gratifying for me to imagine that, if we are successful in our project, if we can bring a pill out, how many lives would be transformed by that pill. And also the associated social changes that we are talking about, like how the responsibility will be shifted, and also how the women are generally and socially associated with the contraception and pregnancy, and men would then carry some of the burden there. I'm particularly delighted by the trainee support such as fellowship and travel grant, as well as career development grant, because this actually not only support people like us who are still working on the male contraceptive field, but this can also attract other potential researchers in the field of male contraceptive. And we need more people definitely to get a male contraceptive. Another thing I have to mention is MCI's fellowship and these trainee support are open for all of us, like regardless of nationality, and which is big thing for me because I'm an international graduate student. So a lot of the fellowship and trainee support I'm not qualified for. So I believe that this MCI fellowship will help to build a more diverse international research community in male contraception. I believe that for the male contraceptive research, we don't know as much about male reproductive system as we know about female reproductive system. So I think there is this barrier of knowledge that we need to cross. So that means there needs to be more focus on male contraceptive research, like the research in basic science, because there is a lot of fine regulation in the male reproductive system, and we don't know these regulators. So I think we need to identify those regulators as well as to understand what role they play in other parts of the body. That means we need to find the targets for the male contraceptive that has reproductive system specific function, so that if we develop a contraceptive that wouldn't have any off-target effect on other physiological system. And as a medicinal chemist, I also feel that there is a gap in knowledge about the blood testis barrier, because that barrier prevent drug from getting from the blood into the testis. And a lot of drug, not all of them, but a lot of the contraceptive have to cross that barrier to bind to their target. So we need to understand that barrier, and we also need to study, evaluate, and also be able to predict the behavior of the drug in that barrier. I'm really hopeful about the future of male contraceptive because this is the very discipline I'm working on. So I kind of have twofold vision about it. Like one is the kind of near future, what's gonna happen, and another is what is going to happen in eventually. So for near future, I think there would be many more researchers joining in the discipline of male contraceptive research, because someone said that it takes a village or more than a village to develop a drug. So we want more researcher in the discipline. And for the far future, I think that, or I believe that we should have male contraceptive option available for the consumer that has a very good safety profile, and that will make it preferred method for a lot of couples. And for that to happen, there needs to be a increased effort from public and private sector. I think together then we can pave the way for first male contraceptive pill.